Remy, baby. Family, gather in close, because the whole culture is about to detonate this week, and let me tell you exactly what set the fuse. After nearly a decade of running the same con on national television, the tiny braid tourist finally sat under a hot studio light, next to a live microphone, in front of a camera she could not talk her way past, and told a lie so loud, so lazy, and so publicly humiliating that the internet was already writing her obituary before the segment even wrapped. Bhad Bhabie stared straight into a professional interviewer's face and pretended, on the record, that she does not know Remy Ma's music. Not one song. Not one bar. Not a single hook. She said it plain. She said it flat. She said it with a mouth full of dust and eyes full of static. And every single person watching from Newark to Nashville to New Orleans knew, in that exact second, that the whole illusion had just collapsed on live television. Now let me set the table right, because I want the folks in the back to see every dish. The interview started innocent. Simple. A soft ball rolling gently across the field. The host, casual as a Sunday breakfast, asked Bhad Bhabie which female rappers she actually listens to. That's a question a middle schooler could handle. A toddler could handle it. My auntie could handle it in the aisle at Kroger without breaking stride. And Bhad Bhabie starts naming the safe girls. Cardi. Megan. Glorilla. Lato. All the names that don't ask her any hard questions. All the names that don't cast a shadow over her own reflection. All the names that let her keep her costume on. And then, family, the host does the thing. The clean surgical thing. The kind of question that only lands because he already knew what he was fishing for. He leans in and asks, easy as breathing, what about Remy Ma? You a Remy fan? And I want you to freeze the tape right there. Freeze it. Zoom in. Because the mirror bandit's face does a whole choreography of panic in less than 2 seconds. Her eyes flicker. Her jaw locks up. Her chest tightens like a snare drum. Her fingers curl. And then, with the calmest, blonkiest, deadest voice a human being can produce, she says, I don't know many of her songs. Family. Baby. Come on now. That is the single most transparent lie put on tape this entire calendar year. Because the tiny braid tourist has been running around dressed in Remy Ma's blueprint since the year Barack Obama was still handing out speeches at inauguration podiums. Every hairstyle Remy Ma has debuted, Bhad Bhabie has arrived to the discount aisle 3 weeks later with a bootleg version of it stapled to her scalp. Every outfit Remy Ma has walked into a room wearing, the Mirror Bandit has attempted an off-brand replica of, complete with a wig that looks like it was dredged out of a lost and found bin behind a Greyhound station. Every pose Remy Ma has struck in a photograph, Bhad Bhabie has copied. And I need every single person watching to sit with this fact, because it is a fact, not an opinion, not a hot take, not a shot. She has never, not one time, not once in the entire chronicled history of her career, worn Remy Ma's blueprint better than Remy Ma. Not once. That photo does not exist. Send it to me if you find it. I'll be waiting until the sun stops setting. For anybody who's been paying attention, this whole story has been on a slow simmer for years, and this interview was the moment the pot boiled over onto the stove and set the kitchen curtains on fire. Bhad Bhabie has been camping outside Remy Ma's aesthetic like a war correspondent embedded in enemy territory. Every hair braid. Every photo caption. Every pose. Every angle. And now she wants to sit in a chair, cross her legs, and pretend the woman she has been shadowing for years is a stranger. Ma'am. Remy. The nation was watching. Around the neighborhood, the talk is that the tiny braid tourist made this exact miscalculation because she has been drinking her own advertising for so long she forgot the rest of us still have functional eyeballs. She thought the lie would slide. She thought the host would nod, laugh, move on. She thought the audience would let it pass. And instead, the whole culture converted the clip into evidence within the first 45 minutes of upload. Every barbershop had it up. Every nail salon had it looping. Every kitchen table debate turned into a courtroom. And the verdict came back unanimous before dinner. Now let me tell you what a grown woman would have done in that chair. A grown woman would have said 12 simple seconds of adult English. She would have said something like, Remy Ma is a legend. She's got bars. I don't spin her records as much as the newer wave, but her catalog speaks for itself. 12 seconds. 12 seconds of grace. 12 seconds that would have shut down every commentary channel in the game, killed the drama in the crib, and earned her actual respect from a culture that had been dying to give it. But the Mirror Bandit could not manage it. She physically could not do it. She does not possess a single humble bone in her whole skeleton. She would need a bone transplant to complement another female artist, and the donor list is not exactly overflowing. She would rather torch her entire credibility than hand another woman a nod. And that, family, right there, is why this culture keeps side-eyeing her. Now I'll give props where props are earned, because I am a fair-minded neighborhood correspondent. The tiny braid tourist can throw hands. I'll say it. She has a boxing record with real knockouts on it. Her top row of teeth and her bottom row of teeth look like they were drawn by two different sketch artists on two different deadlines, but I'll admit she can bang. Her edges have been in witness protection since roughly 2019, and every time she pulls that little braid up on top of her head it looks like a starving field mouse holding on to her scalp for dear life, but I'll grant that she has a decent hook. Her fingernails look like she moonlights rotating tires at a Jiffy Lube. But sure, the girl can swing. See how easy it is. See how a functional human being distributes credit. Bhad Bhabie cannot even manage that basic transaction with another artist. She'd rather deny reality on camera than acknowledge the woman she's been quietly worshipping. And here is where the story gets deeper, because it is not just about a hairstyle. Bhad Bhabie already told on herself. She sat down in her own kitchen, on her own platform, on her own initiative, on her own dime, and confessed to the entire internet that her whole personality is stitched together from other women's inspiration. She said it out loud. She said she borrows from this one and takes a piece from that one and stacks up flavors from a third one like she's assembling a burrito bowl. She published the confession. She monetized the confession. She turned the confession into content. And now, she wants us to believe she does not know Remy Ma's discography. The Mirror Bandit is the certified curator of a museum full of other women's ideas, and she wants us to pretend she does not know the artist whose exhibit she visits the most. Kill the fairy tale, ma'am. Bury it. Put a headstone on it. Remy Ma dropped 2 full-length diss tracks aimed at the people currently orbiting Bhad Bhabie's life, and we are supposed to believe those flew right past her ears too. 2 diss tracks. Not vague social media posts. Not blurry Instagram stories. Not subliminal shots that require a decoder ring. Full-length, name-taking, receipts attached, no mercy diss records. And the tiny braid tourist parked herself in that interview chair and pretended the sound never reached her. Ma'am. You heard, conceded. You heard, lean back. You heard, all the way up. You heard, wake me up. You heard every bar Remy Ma has ever put on wax. You heard the diss tracks. You memorized them. You probably lip-synced to them in your bathroom mirror at 2 in the morning. Please stop insulting our collective intelligence. Remy Ma herself looked at the camera not long ago and said, in her own understated way, that she can't say too much because certain people be stealing her sauce. Now, family, who do we think Remy Ma was aiming that comment at? Who is the professional flavor thief in this equation? Who has been operating a career built entirely on somebody else's leftovers? The tiny braid tourist has never had one single original creative season. Every era of Bhad Bhabie's career is a discount reissue of a Remy Ma chapter. Every rollout is a hand-me-down. Every campaign is a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy, until the image is so streaky and so gray you can barely make out where the original was standing. And here comes another layer, because the plot thickens like Grandma's Sunday gravy. Bhad Bhabie has spent the last stretch of time romantically wrapped up with a man who has been publicly waging a smear campaign against Remy Ma's credibility. Let that sink in. Read it twice. The tiny braid tourist is dating, cohabiting, and photographed posing with a man who tried to torch the reputation of the exact woman she is silently studying every single day of her life. That is not a love story, family. That is a coordinated hit disguised as a relationship. That is a joint venture with a shared target. And the Mirror Bandit is standing in the middle of it acting confused about why the culture is looking at her sideways from every direction on the compass. We see the play. We see the choreography. We see the whole strategy unfolding in slow motion like a bad heist movie where the getaway driver forgot the keys in the ignition. And Remy Ma, from her side of the whole situation, has already answered the ghostwriter allegations against her with a freestyle so cold the studio needed to hand out blankets. And yet Bhad Bhabie still had the audacity, the mountainous audacity, to walk into an interview and pretend she does not know Remy Ma's music. Ma'am. You know every syllable. You know every producer credit. You know every ad-lib. You know every hook. The neighborhood caught it, family. Within 24 hours of that interview hitting the timelines, the receipts started stacking like Jenga blocks on payday. Side-by-side photos. Split-screen edits. Wardrobe overlays. Pose comparisons. Somebody put together a full presentation with charts and footnotes. Somebody built a Google document. Somebody built an entire mood board archive. The Mirror Bandit's whole aesthetic blueprint has been reverse-engineered by strangers with too much time and 100% accuracy, and Bhad Bhabie has not said a single credible word to defend herself, because there is no defense left standing. The tape does not lie. The tape only reveals. And the tape has revealed the tiny braid tourist as the most transparent copycat in this entire chapter of hip-hop. Now, let's pivot to this boxing career, because the Mirror Bandit is out here writing checks her fists cannot cash. She has been calling herself the female Michael Jordan of the ring. She has been calling herself the LeBron of combat sports. She has been claiming she sells out arenas. She has been announcing that she is a 19-time champion of an alphabet organization nobody has ever heard of. She has been saying that when she boxes, it's a cinematic global event. Ma'am. When you box, half the arena is comp tickets. When you box, the lower bowl looks like a witness protection program. When you box, the upper deck could host a family reunion by itself with room to spare for a barbecue and a bounce house. And the people who do buy a ticket are not showing up for her. Ray J said it. Ray J, the man she has on her own undercard, went on the record on a live podcast and said the crowd is not there for the tiny braid tourist. He said they are showing up for the spectacle, for the mess, for the drama, for the sideshow, for anybody except the woman headlining her own promotion. That is a coworker. That is a coworker on her own payroll telling the whole internet nobody is paying to watch her. And the Mirror Bandit's response to being publicly dragged by her own undercard was to keep him on the card. She did not fire him. She did not remove him. She could not. She won't. She needs him more than he needs her, and every single person watching knows it. The Mirror Bandit is running a business where her own employees have more credibility than the CEO. The Mirror Bandit is running a fight card where the pre-show outperforms the headliner. The Mirror Bandit is running a promotion where the opening act has better street value than the main event. Then here comes the receipt on the boyfriend chapter, because you truly cannot fabricate this if you tried. Ken Rod, before this whole spectacle jumped off, told Bhad Bhabie to stay away from a certain man. Told her clearly. Told her repeatedly. Told her publicly. And the very next day, family, the tiny braid tourist is posted up with that same man on camera, grinning like she just won a Powerball ticket at a Kroger. So we already know what her word is worth to the people closest to her. If her own inner circle can't get her to respect a boundary, why on this green earth would the internet respect her lie about a Bronx legend? The Mirror Bandit's word is worth about as much as a coupon that expired in 2011, for a store that closed in 2013, in a mall that was demolished in 2017. Family, let me zoom back to the interview because there is another crime scene inside the crime scene, and I refuse to let it go unindicted. The freestyle. Do y'all remember when a freestyle used to mean something in this culture? A freestyle used to mean off the top of your head. It used to mean an artist opens the brain and lets the bars fall out live and unfiltered. It was a sacred test of skill. It was a rite of passage. It was the one moment when the real ones separated themselves from the pretenders in real time. Bhad Bhabie sat in that chair and went, let me think. Let me think. Which one should I do? Hold on. Let me think. Ma'am. 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 A freestyle is not a menu at Cheesecake Factory. You do not get to browse. You do not get to consult the wine list. You do not get to phone a friend. That was pre-written. That was rehearsed. That was memorized in front of a bathroom mirror 3 days before the interview. And the second the host said, "Drop something," she started flipping through the mental Rolodex of everything her ghostwriter had fed her the previous week, trying to pick the least embarrassing option. And even the least embarrassing option was embarrassing. She spit whatever it was, and the host clapped. And family, please hear me clearly, that clap was the loudest lie of the entire segment. That clap was a favor. That clap was a mercy. That clap was a charitable donation. That clap was hospice care for a freestyle that was already dead on arrival. Nobody in that studio was moved. Nobody in that studio was impressed. Nobody in that studio's jaw dropped. That was pity applause, and the tiny braid tourist accepted it like a Grammy. She bowed. She smiled. She soaked it in. That right there was the saddest moment on the whole tape. The mirror bandit genuinely thinks she is winning. That is the tragedy inside the comedy. She thinks the algorithm boosting her drama is admiration. She thinks the trending audio is applause. She thinks the memes are affection. She thinks the reposts are respect. Bhad Bhabie truly believes the culture is laughing with her, and this culture has been laughing at her since the moment she first said the word cash on daytime television almost a decade ago. Nothing has evolved. The joke has only gotten longer. The joke has only gotten louder. The joke has only gotten more stale. And yet the Mirror Bandit keeps performing it like it's opening night at Radio City. She is the punchline of a bit that started 10 years ago and refuses to die because she keeps feeding it new material with her own two hands. And Papoose. Papoose is standing right next to her in this whole scenario, nodding along like he's picked a winner. My man. You picked the leaky lifeboat. You picked the karaoke cover when you had the original studio recording living in your own house. You picked the tribute band when you were married to the actual headliner. And Remy Ma told him publicly, on record, to go find something stupid to play with. He heard the assignment and went straight to the tiny braid tourist like she was the answer key to the exam. Remy Ma called the shot. Remy Ma predicted the outcome. Remy Ma scripted the whole ending. She said, "Find something stupid," and the man delivered on the assignment. The prophecy fulfilled itself. The prophecy autographed itself. The prophecy wrote its own sequel and shot the trailer. And now Papoose is still out here somewhere waiting on his belongings to arrive at his newest address. Remy Ma told him to take a whole journey to go get his stuff. Grown man is nomadic. Grown man is a cautionary tale in a fitted cap. Grown man is a Yelp review of his own life story. And he genuinely believed aligning himself with the Mirror Bandit was some kind of power move. Sir, that was a demotion. You went from a legend to a lesson. You went from a Hall of Fame catalog to a health class warning. You went from Bronx royalty to Broward County Community Theater, and the tiny braid tourist was the vehicle you rode therein. She was the Uber. She was the Lyft. She was the getaway car from your own credibility. Family, let me get back to the copycat receipts, because they are stacked so high they need their own zip code and their own postal worker. Every single time Bhad Bhabie has recreated a Remy Ma look, she has downgraded it. This is not opinion. This is documented visual evidence. Pull the photos up right now. Split screen them. Remy Ma on the left. Bhad Bhabie on the right. Every single time, the left side wins. Never once made the copy better than the original. Never once shown up and said, "I took her idea and I elevated it." Because she can't. Because she doesn't have the range. Because the tiny braid tourist is a Xerox machine with a broken toner cartridge and every reproduction comes out streaky, crooked, and off-center. And I want to talk about the audacity, because the audacity is what makes this newsworthy. It is one thing to copy quietly. It is a whole other thing to copy loudly. But it is a third-tier level of insanity to copy loudly and then look the entire internet dead in the face and pretend the person you are copying does not exist. The tiny braid tourist has achieved a rare trifecta in the world of cultural theft. She stole. She got caught. And then she pretended the woman she stole from is a stranger. That is a level of delusion that requires professional intervention. That is a level of denial that has its own psychiatric code. That is a level of gaslighting that could power a small city on a grid all its own. And listen, this is the shift I want every single person watching to notice tonight: the culture is done. The commentary channels are done. The barbershops are done. The nail salons are done. The comment sections are done. The reaction podcasts are done. Nobody is playing along anymore. Nobody is treating Bhad Bhabie like she's being cute. Nobody is protecting the Wild Child brand. The affection has expired. The novelty has expired. The teen star grace period has been repossessed. The tiny braid tourist is now just a grown woman lying on camera about a Bronx legend, and the audience is out of patience. Even the discount she is offering on her boxing event tells you where the market temperature is at. She said if you're from the state of Flint, you get 50% off. If you're from the country of Michigan, you get 25% off. Ma'am. 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 Flint is a city. Michigan is a state. There is no country of Michigan. There has never been a country of Michigan. There will never be a country of Michigan. Not now. Not next year. Not in the next century. And the fact that the Mirror Bandit is out here rewriting United States geography to sell tickets to a fight nobody is requesting should tell you everything you need to know about where her career is standing right now. When you have to run a fire sale on your own event, the event is on fire. And not the good kind. The 3-alarm, call the fire marshal, evacuate the block kind. Let's return to the mock freestyle, family, because I cannot let it rest in peace. Somebody hand this woman a rhyming dictionary and a bus ticket home. Let me think, she said. Let me think. Let me think. Ma'am. If you have to think that hard about which pre-written freestyle to recite from your mental archive, none of them are freestyles. They are recitations. They are book reports. They are theater kid monologues in a fitted cap. They are dramatic readings at a coffeehouse open mic night on a Wednesday. The tiny braid tourist has never freestyled a day in her life, and that interview was the exact moment the mask slid off her face, landed on the floor, and rolled under the couch to be forgotten about. And then, because the universe has a comedic sense of timing, the very next viral clip after her freestyle disaster was her own undercard fighter roasting her on a live podcast. Ray J went on the record. Looked at the camera. Said the crowd is not there for her. Said they're there for the baddies. Said they're there for the drama. Said they're there for everything except the woman promoting the event. And Bhad Bhabie's team had to pretend they did not hear it. What were they going to do? Fire him? His name still pulls a crowd. The Mirror Bandit's whole business model runs on her supporting cast propping her up, and the moment one of them stops holding the beam, the whole scaffolding wobbles like a Jenga tower at last call. Then there is the moment I keep replaying in my head. The tell. The little micro-expression. When the host asked her about Remy Ma, her face did a thing. If you slow the tape down frame by frame, you can see her whole nervous system flinch. Her eyes darted. Her jaw locked. Her chest tightened. Her fingers curled. That was not the face of a woman who doesn't know Remy Ma. That was the face of a woman who has been studying Remy Ma with the intensity of a doctoral candidate and got called on in class without doing the reading, even though she absolutely did the reading, because she cannot admit she did the reading, because admitting she did the reading would collapse the entire hustle she has been running for a decade of her career. The tiny braid tourist could have told the truth. Could have said, Remy Ma is a legend, I know her catalog, I just listen to the newer girls more often. She could have said that in one breath and walked out of the interview looking mature, grown, evolved. Instead, she chose the lie. She chose to insult the audience's intelligence in real time. She chose to pretend that her entire creative blueprint is a stranger she has never listened to. The Mirror Bandit chose disgrace over grace, and the internet is holding her to that choice with both hands and a receipt book. And her team, wherever they are not doing her any favors. Somebody around her should have said, if you go into that interview and lie about Remy Ma, you're going to spend the next month getting dragged across every timeline in America. Nobody said it. Or somebody said it and she ignored them. Either way, the outcome is identical. The tiny braid tourist has added another highlight reel of humiliation to a career that is starting to look like a mixtape of embarrassment set to a slow instrumental. There is a supercut being edited right now, family. Somewhere. In somebody's bedroom, on somebody's laptop, in somebody's editing suite. A supercut of every time Bhad Bhabie has lied on camera and been caught before the segment ended. That supercut has enough footage to fill a movie. Now watch what the Mirror Bandit does next. Watch. She is going to post a video defending herself. She is going to say y'all are twisting her words. She is going to say she meant she doesn't listen to Remy Ma often, not never. She is going to move the goalposts to the 50-yard line and pray nobody remembers where they started. That is the playbook. That is always the playbook. Every time Bhad Bhabie gets caught, she reissues the lie in a new outfit and hopes we accept the reprint. And every time, the culture stops accepting a little sooner. The runway keeps getting shorter. The margin keeps getting thinner. The grace keeps getting rarer. You know how you can tell when the tiny braid tourist is lying? Watch her lips. If her lips are moving, she is lying. That is not a metaphor. That is a diagnostic tool. That is a field manual. That is a working formula. Bhad Bhabie lies when it's convenient. She lies when it's inconvenient. She lies when there is no reason on this planet to lie. She lies for practice. She lies to stay in shape. She lies the way athletes stretch. It is not situational for the mirror bandit. It is muscular. Her mouth is trained. And Papoose is going to sit next to her while she lies and nod along like a bobblehead in the back window of a 1998 Honda Civic on a bumpy road. He is going to co-sign the lie. He is going to defend the lie. He is going to appear in the follow-up wearing sunglasses inside the house and pointing at a whiteboard nobody asked to see. He is going to give a whole TED talk on why Bhad Bhabie's lie was actually the truth all along, delivered in a voice that sounds like an audiobook narrator who lost the script. Meanwhile, Remy Ma is going to sit at home, drink her tea, drop another verse when she feels like it, and remind everybody that she does not have to say one syllable, because the tiny braid tourist keeps writing the diss tracks for her by breathing in the general direction of a microphone. The final indignity, family, is that Bhad Bhabie could have skipped this entire scandal with 12 seconds of adulthood. She could have named Remy Ma in that interview. She could have said, yeah, I like Remy. She's a boss. She's the reason a lot of us can do what we do. 12 seconds. 12 seconds and she would have flipped the whole narrative on its head. She would have been trending for grace instead of trending for grift. She would have been the woman who paid her respect instead of the woman who got caught. But she couldn't do it. The mirror bandit cannot let a competitor be great in the same sentence as her, even when it would benefit her financially, professionally, and reputationally. That is not strategy. That is pathology. That is a diagnosis. And that is why this story matters. It is not about a hairstyle. It is not about an outfit. It is not even about a diss track. It is about a woman who has built an entire career on the aesthetic of authenticity while being the least authentic person in every room she walks into. The tiny braid tourist markets herself as the raw one. The real one. The unfiltered one. And every single time the microphone goes live, she is the most manufactured person in the studio. The gap between her brand and her behavior is now larger than any actual talent she could develop in a lifetime to close it. The gap is intergalactic. The gap has its own weather system. The gap has its own zip code. The interview clip is still circulating, family. Every hour, new reaction videos are uploading. Podcast hosts are queuing it up. Radio shows are debating it. Culture writers are drafting takes. TikTok is remixing it into 100 different soundtracks. And through all of that, Bhad Bhabie is on her account, quiet as a church mouse on a Sunday morning, because for once in her entire career, the mirror bandit does not have a comeback. There is no clapback that fixes this. There is no witty repost that saves this. There is no photo dump that distracts from this. The only thing that would save it is honesty, and honesty has never been a service she offers to the public. Meanwhile, Remy Ma has not tweeted. She has not posted. She has not recorded. She has not needed to. That is what real power looks like. That is what a legacy looks like. The tiny braid tourist is scrambling to explain herself, and the woman she has been shadowing for a decade is just living her life, letting the culture do the work for her. Remy Ma does not have to move. Remy Ma does not have to reach. Remy Ma does not have to lift a single finger. The mirror bandit has already delivered her own eulogy in front of a live studio audience, on camera, on the record, with witnesses and everything. Remy, family, that is the whole story. Bhad Bhabie sat in an interview chair, tried to erase Remy Ma from her own inspiration board, got caught by the host, got caught by the audience, got caught by her own face on camera, and instead of admitting the truth, she doubled down on the lie. The whole culture watched it happen in real time. The verdict is unanimous. The tiny braid tourist is finished pretending, whether she knows it yet or not. So the next time you see Bhad Bhabie drop a photo on the timeline, look close. Zoom in. Cross-reference the hairstyle with Remy Ma's archive. Cross-reference the outfit. Cross-reference the pose. Cross-reference the caption cadence. Because I promise you, somewhere in Remy Ma's history, that exact look already exists. And it existed better. And it existed first. And the mirror bandit is going to keep photocopying it until the toner runs out, the printer catches fire, the store closes down, and the parking lot gets paved over into a Walgreens. Now let me leave you with the questions, family, because I already got my answers and I need to hear yours. Do you honestly believe the tiny braid tourist has never in her natural-born life heard a single Remy Ma record? Do you believe her boxing career is going to survive her own undercard talking down on her live on the internet? Do you believe Papoose picked the winning horse in this race? Do you believe Bhad Bhabie will ever, in this lifetime or the next one, admit that Remy Ma is her North Star? Because my answer to every single one of those questions rhymes with, no way in this century. Drop a comment. Tell me the exact frame where you saw her face change. Drop the timestamp. Let's build the receipt together as a community. Let's make the supercut permanent. Let's make sure that the next time somebody searches the tiny braid tourist's name on any search engine on planet Earth, this exact story loads on the first page in bold letters with a blinking red arrow pointing at it. And here comes one final layer, because the crime is not finished being catalogued. Bhad Bhabie has not just been silent on Remy Ma. She has actively boosted every single artist who has publicly clashed with her. She has aligned. She has commented. She has liked. She has shared. She has posed. She has run the campaign in broad daylight while pretending to be neutral. And the tiny braid tourist wants us to believe this is coincidence. Ma'am, coincidence does not stack up like this. Coincidence does not present its receipts in chronological order. Coincidence does not autograph itself the way this pattern has. The mirror bandit is not confused. She is not misunderstood. She is not being taken out of context. She is exactly who the tape shows her to be, a professional imitator who cannot bring herself to name the woman she is imitating, because naming her would be the same as admitting the whole enterprise is a knockoff. And the culture is not asking her for a confession anymore. The culture already has the evidence. What the culture is watching now is the slow, public, cinematic realization that the imitator has run out of hiding places. So family, before I let you go, listen closely. This story is not going away this week. The interview will keep looping. The receipts will keep stacking. The commentary channels will keep piling on. And somewhere in a quiet room in the Bronx, Remy Ma is going to sit down at a kitchen table, sip something warm, and let the whole world do the writing for her. That is what a legend does. A legend never lifts a hand. The imitators lift the hand for them. And every time the tiny braid tourist opens her mouth to defend herself, she is going to hand Remy Ma another chapter of the same story she has been quietly living for 25 years. I'll say it plain. The mirror bandit is finished pretending. The Bronx never blinks. And the culture has its verdict already signed, stamped, notarized, and mailed to the correct address. Baby, tell me what you think in the comments section, and stay right here on this channel because the very next chapter of this whole saga is already loading, and I do not want you to miss a single second of it. I'm out. I'm gone. Family, keep your eyes open. End script. And another thing, family, because we are stacking the evidence file to the ceiling tonight. Remy Ma's fanbase noticed the whole thing before the interview even finished uploading. Every corner of the neighborhood woke up at once. The Bronx started tweeting. Instagram lit up. Twitter caught fire. Facebook aunties started sharing the clip with 3 exclamation marks and a bag of popcorn emojis. TikTok stitched the clip into every possible reaction pose imaginable. There were teachers reacting to it during lunch break. There were nurses reacting to it in the break room. There were construction workers reacting to it on their tailgates. This clip broke containment inside of 1 hour, and the tiny braid tourist has not been able to log on to a single application without seeing her own denial staring back at her in slow motion with a caption underneath. And the funniest part, family, the absolute funniest part of this whole spectacle, is that Remy Ma herself has not needed to respond in any format. She has not needed to record a diss. She has not needed to sit for an interview. She has not needed to make a single statement of any kind. The culture is doing every last piece of the work on her behalf, on her own timeline, at no cost to her, with no lift required from her side. The Mirror Bandit has been drafted, uncompensated, into a nationwide public relations campaign for Remy Ma, and she does not even realize she is the unpaid intern running the whole operation. I'll leave you with this, family. Save the interview clip. Bookmark the receipts. Save the side-by-side photos. Save the Papoose comparison. Save the boxing announcement. Save it all. Because 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 24 months from now, when the Mirror Bandit tries to reinvent herself, when the tiny braid tourist tries to launch a new era, when she puts on a fresh wig and pretends we have not all been paying attention, this exact story is going to resurface, and the entire internet is going to line up to remind her that we saw the tape. We heard the lie. We watched the panic on her face. And we are not going anywhere. The Bronx never blinks. Remy Ma never loses. And the culture never forgets. Baby, keep it locked right here, subscribe if you have not already, share this with the group chat that already knew, and drop me a comment telling me exactly which lie of the tiny braid tourist's whole career you rank as the boldest. Because tonight's is a strong contender, but the archive is deep, and we are just getting started. I'm out. I'm gone for real this time. Family, keep your receipts sharp.